Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Here, I will present about experiential learning, and the material is colors for young learners. Before I present my work, let me introduce myself. My name is ANISA Damayanti. First, I will explain the learning objectives of colors for young learners, and then continue until the end. First is learning goals. Number one is students can recognizing colors. The ability to recognize colors means the ability of students to know the type of color or can recognize the color of light reflected by objects they know or colors. Number two is students can name the colors. From recognizing colors, students are able to name the color produced, or students are able to name the color or type of color. Number third is students can practice mixing colors. From students can recognize colors and students can name colors, then students can practice mixing colors from primary colors to secondary colors, and students can remember various colors. Then the last thing is that students can remember the type of color from the resulting color. This means that from experiential experience in practicing or mixing, students can recognize, mention, and remember various colors. And then conceptual instructional design. Experiential learning theory developed by David Kolb. The experiential learning theory works in 4 stages: concrete learning, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. The first 2 stages of the cycle involve grasping an experience. The second to focus on transforming an experience. Experiential can also simulating real-life situations such as role-playing and participating in games. Experiential learning involves the body, thoughts, feelings, and actions. Therefore, it is a complete personal learning experience. The 4-step cycle in experiential learning, according to David Kolb. Concrete experience or feeling means that learning from specific experiences, being sensitive to situation. Concrete experience is stage of learning through intuition by emphasizing personal experience, experiencing and feeling. And in this stage, supporting activities include small group discussions, simulation, games, role-play, drama techniques, video or film, and giving example and stories. Reflective observation, namely observing before making a decision by observing the environment from different perspectives. Look at the various things to get a meaning. At this stage, it is learning through perception. Focus on understanding ideas and situations by careful observation. Learning relates how something happens by looking at it from a different perspective and relying on a truth, feeling, and judgment. Instructional technique that can be used include personal journals, reflective essays, observation, reports, discussion, and thought question. Abstract conceptualization or thinking, namely the logical analysis of ideas and acting according to understanding of a situation so as to bring up new ideas or concepts. Abstract conceptualization is learning with precise and true thinking, using systematic approach to structure and frame phenomena. Instructional technique include theoretical construction, lecturing and building models and analogies. And the last is active experimentation or doing, means the ability to do things with people and take action based on event, including taking risks. Active experimentation. So, active experimentation is learning through action, emphasizing practical application in real life context. Instructional technique used include field work, laboratory work, games, drama, and simulation. Number 1 is preliminary or time allocation, 50 minutes. The first is the teacher gives greetings and then greets parents and students through the Google Meet as a medium of learning between teachers, students, and parents of students. The example is hello students or Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning students. And then number 2 is the teacher remind and guides students to pray before starting lesson. The example is before we start our lessons, pray together, and remind students to always take care of their health. Number 3 is the teacher reviews the material that has been previously given and explain carefully or slowly to students the material that will be studied today. And number 4 is the teacher informs students that the opportunity for the material to be delivered is related to color. Number 5 is the teacher provides the opportunity for parents or students to respond to information and material at the beginning, which are explained briefly. Is core activities. Number 1 is the teacher provides an introduction to the material to be taught today, related color with Google Meet. Number 2, students are slowly invited to understand the material about the color. The teacher briefly explains what the students will do during learning. Number 3 is the teacher play a video related to today's material. Number 4 is the teacher explains to the students that there are many colors in English. For example, there are various colors is merah, same red, biru, the same of blue, hijau, the same is green, yellow, the same is kuning, and gradually explain the activity of coloring and mixing colors like the one in the video. Number 5 is the teacher asks students to prepare coloring tools or crayons or colored pencil according to the instruction given yesterday. Number 6 is the teacher practice and tell students about mixing colors, practicing in the front of students and while explaining that there are several colors that result from mixing colors, namely yellow and blue, the same with green, yellow and red, the same with orange. And the last is the teacher asks students to practice directly. And the last is closing. The one is ask students what difficulties they have had during lessons or practice, and then asking whether students understand the material, and then asking whether today's learning was fun. And then the last is close by saying salam or Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. And the last is assessment. In the assessment, There are two types. The first is daily assessment. The assessment can be done by the teacher seen from the activeness of students in class, from how students respond during learning activities. Teacher can see whether students understand new material or not from whether they can answer questions given by the teacher, such as what is the hair color or what is the sky color. And number two is attitude assessment. The teacher can see from the students' attitude whether they are willing to try new things, their enthusiasm, and their effort. I think enough from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I think enough from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.